we'll wait till we stop talking.
Oh wait, I think well, it's going.
It's all right. That'll be fine.
It's gone? It's going?
Wait, I think.
Does it say record?
Yeah.
Okay. We're good.
Good?
Yeah.
So you guys are all seniors. I won't start the whole presentation until they're done, but you guys are all seniors?
Yeah.
Are you excited? I can't believe it's already, what do you got, like 2 months? You have a good vacation?
Yeah, it was so short.
Yeah.
We had to get back today.
Well, listen, this is the only job you get that you get about, what, 6 weeks vacation? When you start working in the business, you don't get that. So appreciate it all and use it. Is anybody going to college after here, or are you all going to work? College. Oh, so this is like a little backside. Excellent. I did the same thing. I went to beauty school right out of high school because nobody talked to us about college back in my day. And then 20 years later, I sat for the state board. So I went to beauty school, got my 1,000 hours, and then moved out of town and never did hair. I worked in one salon for a very short time and thought hairdressers were idiots and just didn't want anything to do with hairdressers again. Fast forward a bunch of years, I did nails for a bunch of years, which was another sidekick where I made a lot of money. And one of the reasons I went and did nails was when you did hair, people were not always so happy because the face was still the same. When you did nails, they always looked 10 times better or they were thrilled. So nails was much more pleasurable for me. So that's what I did for a long time. 20 years later, I moved back to New York after living in about 5 different states, doing a bunch of different things. I've owned bars, I worked in casinos, I ran JCPenney's department store, partial like in the cosmetology division. I did a whole bunch of things. And then my mom bought Allure in Lake Grove in 1990. She started working there in 1968 for 3 hours a week, and no matter what job she did, she always kept that job, and eventually she became the general manager. There was 9 Allures in the last 34 years or 40 years. And she ended up being the general manager for the gentleman that owned all of them. And then I came and did nails with her for a lot of years. And then eventually I went and sat for my state board. That's how I met Miss Joyce. That's how I met Michelle. Miss Joyce did a cosmetology review class so that I could pass my state board because it was 20 years later. I started working with my mom in '99, and here we are. My mom passed away last year, so I am now the owner of Allure. Does anybody know of Allure in Lake Grove? Not a soul? Oh my God, we've been in business for almost 50 years. 50 years. It's a long, long, long time. So basically it started out as a wig store, and then it went into wigs and nails, and then it went into almost what we would call a day spot. In the 80s, we had tanning, waxing, pedicures, manicures, facials, body wraps. We did hair. I had 19 nail girls working for me at one time. It was insane. And then nail shops started popping up all over. And our business turned to more medical. Unfortunately, cancer is rampant, and chemotherapy makes people lose their hair or it makes their hair thin. So over the years, we became the go-to hair loss solution center. So we do hair loss solutions for medical and natural hair loss. Just for your own frame of mind, there's 40 million women suffering from some sort of hair loss these days, and the number's growing. So when you're in a salon, you're going to see a lot of your clients, especially as they age, their hair is going to get thinner and thinner, and there's tons of reasons. In one of those little brochures I gave you, the one that has Allure on the front, if you open it up, there's a whole list of all the different reasons why women lose their hair. There is the androgenetic alopecia, which is just chemo pattern hair loss, and then there's many other ones, which I'm sure you have learned about. And if you don't, you should make yourself associated with. There are some that are temporary, there are some that are permanent, there are some that they have answers for, there are some they have no answers for. Alopecia being one of them. Nobody really truly knows why people's bodies attack their hair follicles. And alopecia is another huge business because they have no hair. And if they have no hair, they need a solution. Hence, that's what we do. So we'll do little hair pieces, we'll do custom hair pieces, we'll do wigs, synthetic, human, custom. It just goes on and on and on of all of the reasons and all the solutions. So in our industry, the trend is starting to lead towards scalp and hair care, which is, anybody know what that is? The study of trichology. Trichology is a big thing in our industry. So you guys, anybody work in a salon now? Okay, so how long have you been working in your salon?
Like 3.5 months.
3.5 months. Do you see people's heads? Or are you just shampooing? Or are you? So have you seen some people with tons of hair, some people with not a lot of hair, or even the same person in a couple of times, seeing less hair? What about you? 2 months. You do the same thing? So you're noticing heads. So you guys as stylists are going to be the first person to really start to notice your client's hair changing. I mean, they're going to notice, but they're going to just, maybe they won't say anything, maybe they will say anything. So Modern Salon has gotten together with our industry, which is the hair replacement and hair loss industry, and they're trying to educate stylists across the country, or the world actually. So they just did a big survey. If anybody reads the magazine, they just did a big survey a couple of weeks ago to find out what stylists actually know about hair loss and what causes it and what they can do about it. So this is just a little note for yourselves. So starting in July, our business is getting into the scalp and hair care side of it, where we're going to do preventative care. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the best environment for your hair to grow. And this is something you guys all really need to know, and what's going to separate you from the girl next to you in the chair. This is what we're here for. I'm here to educate you guys to learn that there's way more money to be made other than just cutting and coloring and cutting and coloring. We want to be creative, we want to be caring, we want to be educating. Education for your client, education for yourself is I can't express how important it is. Just for the record, in the last year I've been to 4 educations. I know a lot, but I still go to education. And a lot of the education I go to, I probably could teach, but I always learn something. There's always one thing or 2 things, and it's usually from a hairdresser that's at the education that I learn from. So don't be secretive, share your knowledge, share it with your coworkers. It makes a nicer environment when you're not about me, when you're about everybody, when you're about the care of the person in your chair. It's really huge. So this new trend in our industry, Modern Salon is actually putting together education, I think in Atlanta, in August or September, to educate the hairstylist. It's a 1-day forum, I think, to educate the stylist on what they can do, how to diagnose or how to notice hair loss in your clients, because it's not going to get better as time goes on. People 30 years ago, 40 years ago didn't have as much hair loss as people do now. People losing hair is starting younger than it used to start. People, it's just what we eat, it's our environment, it's our stress levels, it's our drugs, it's our medications, it's all the things that go into our lives now. I mean, it's just not as easy as it was, I guess, when I was younger. Stress is big. And women care. Obviously, you see how much money they're spending on injectables and facials and boob lifts and butt lifts, and so everybody's all about the presentation. It's all about how they look. So hair is a gazillion $million industry. So if you behind the chair have a place where you can send your client to optimize their hair, aren't you going to be the best little kept secret? We are going to be the person you'll be able to send us to, because you as a stylist are not going to do the scalp and hair care in your salon. Maybe you'll be lucky enough that one of your salons will get on board and start to do it down the road. Awesome. More money. Cha-ching. But we're the ones that are going to do it. So what we're going to do is create an environment where the scalp can be the healthiest it can be to grow the best hair. I'm not saying I'm going to grow hair where there is no hair, but wherever there is a strand, we're going to make that the best darn strand there is. So it's like a farmer. If he has incredible great soil, he's going to have good vegetation. If he has really crappy soil, he's going to have little meeky little tomatoes and little this. So that's the concept behind scalp care. And that you're going to see a lot of that going forward. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're going to be the go-to people. So it'll be nice to have that in your back pocket, because now you're going to take care of somebody and you're going to look and you go, Mary, your hair's looking really bad. It's really dry. It's not growing. It's not this. You know what? Why don't you go see Nancy over at Allure? She's got this great program. Whether she stays or she doesn't, at least there's something for her to look into to keep. And the new generation doesn't want to wear hair pieces. They want to keep their own hair. So with that being said, not everybody is going to be a candidate for it, and not everybody's going to get the best amount of hair that they want. So we, in the store, we do a lot of what they call toppers. They're hair pieces, they're daily wear. You clip them on, clip them off. So you've seen people with thin hair, maybe they're not ready to do that whole treatment, maybe they're not ready to do the other side of extended wear treatment. So in between, they have what they call toppers, or hair systems, or hair pieces, or we call them hair helpers. They come many different ways, they come many different sizes. They come human, which is gorgeous. This one comes like this, right out of the box, coloring. And then we, as hairdressers, cut them in, because this is not made for any one particular person. A lot of you guys don't have bangs, but there are a lot of people that do have bangs, so this doesn't have bangs. So this just gets clipped on, and it gives you more volume. It's a bigger piece. This one's a shorter one. So these are what they call monofilament. So this is a double layer, or a silk lined, and when it's on your head, it's going to look like your scalp. So it's pretty cool. So it looks really natural. So we try to sell it when we sell a lot of them. This one's the synthetic version. So this is human, this is synthetic. So I'm going to try to pass them around so you can feel the difference. They both work well. The human one runs about $1,100. The synthetic one's about $350. They have pros and cons. Now, have you guys done wigs?
No, we haven't done it yet.
You haven't done them yet, so you haven't played with anything synthetic yet.
Right, they will.
Oh. Okay. Well, synthetic fibers, anybody ever have a hairpiece you clip on, or extensions that are synthetic and they get a little nappy over time? Well, in our salon, there's ways to fix all that. I don't know if you know that, but you can fix your frizz. So we work a lot with steam, and we work a lot with heat, and then there's some products from the manufacturers. So anything that you have at home that looks like crap that you think you should throw out, but you really love the piece, bring it to us. We can refurbish it and make it like new. Yes, they are fixable. It's pretty cool, because a lot of people don't. So even if you bought a synthetic hairpiece and it got nappy over time, you just bring it in once in a while for what we call a service. We service all kinds of hair on premise, so it's great because we get to do hair and we don't have to deal with the person. So they leave their hair, they come back 2 days later, and it's all beautiful, and they pick it up and off they go. It's quite the fun. So you don't have to have them in the chair and talk to them for all that time. Another side of it. So those are just 2 little human pieces. I mean, human and synthetic. Like I said, they make them all different sizes. They make them all different shapes. They make them all. This is what they call a high heat synthetic. So this one's regular synthetic, which means you can't use curling irons, blow dryers, or heat on them. This one is a newer version of a synthetic where you can use curling irons, blow dryers, and heat on them. What these are really good for is people that cook a lot, because if they were in a little hairpiece and they open up the oven and it's regular synthetic, it will frizz. This one won't. So regular synthetic will frizz at 175 degrees. This one's about 400. So this one works out really well for my older women, moms, grandmas that are baking cookies and doing all that fun stuff. And they look a little different. Some synthetics are very shiny. If you ever have a shiny synthetic, just use a little baby powder on it. It'll take the shine away. Or a little dry shampoo will take the shine away. So this one is what they call machine made. And when I send it around, you'll see the difference. Handmade, that means each one of the hairs that are put in this thing are put in individually by hand on the top. It's like if anybody's ever hooked rug, you fold the yarn in half and you put it through and you hook it. Well, ventilating or adding hair to a unit is the same thing, except you can't even see the needle. It is so flippin' tiny, and you're doing it one hair at a time. It's insane. It takes forever. We do have a girl on premise who actually does ventilating because, funny story, wigs, human hair wigs and hair pieces will go bald over time because knots open and hair breaks. We know hair is a very delicate unit. So we have somebody on premise that can ventilate or add hair. Or if you have a synthetic hair piece and you want a little sun kiss or you want a little highlight, synthetic's not colorable. So we can go in and vent the little hairs in and create a low light, a highlight. We've also created roots and blondes on synthetic. That's just from years of experience and also of just experimenting. We have bags of hair at the store, and so we take them out and we play with them. We burn them, we fry them, we step on them. We wash them. I've had a client wash their hair piece in the washing machine and put it in the dryer. It doesn't work very well. So, but we've tried a lot of different things. That's how else will we know or become the expert in what we're selling unless we experiment. And you guys will do the same thing with hair. You've had your mannequins, you play, you color. Do any of you guys belong to any of the hairstylist forums on Facebook or anything like that? So there's one called Hairstylist Forum. It's for hairstylists, apparently. There's over 100,000 members on Facebook in this one forum. It is a plethora of information. It's also a plethora of styling and questions. So if you had a question and you had somebody in your chair, you could actually take a picture, send it to the hairstylist forum, and usually within a couple of minutes you'll get an answer from another stylist somewhere. It's amazing, and so it's a great little tool to have. You be in your shop and all of a sudden you've got a band of orange when you're doing a highlight and you don't know what the heck to do. You're by yourself or you don't want to ask a coworker, you can Facebook it and get an answer like that because there's 100,000 people on there. So there's a hairstylist forum, there's a microblading, if anybody's doing microblading forum. There's just, it's amazing. There's a lot of information out there. Use your technology to your advantage. So back to these. So these we do with ventilating. We'll do highlights in this. This one you can use blow dries, curl lines, so you can change the style of this. They feel different, they look different. Machine made, handmade. So they have different purposes. And we do a ton of hair pieces. Hair pieces, you only notice bad hair pieces. You ever seen a man in a really bad hair piece? You always go, oh my God, didn't everybody tell him? Yes, we have. Now you can. Years ago you couldn't. There used to be a guy at the post office, and I used to go and drop the mail off, and on purpose I would go to him because my return label said unique hair systems, wiggle more. My mom used to say, you can't talk to them, you can't tell them. That's like telling somebody that you can't do that. I'm like, Mom, he needs help. You need to. So finally one day, after going to him about a year, he never got the message, I finally just said, you need to come and see me, dude. Your hair piece is really bad. He's like, you could tell? I'm like, yeah, the whole world can tell. So, you know, he